it's a 3-year, $150 million deal. $50 million per year.
Will Anderson Jr. just became the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, and every locker room in the league is losing it. 10 stars have already fired off demands to be released, and front offices are in full panic mode. We've got all the details right here. Let's break it down. The deal that broke the NFL pay scale. On April 17th, 2026, the Houston Texans and defensive end Will Anderson Jr. agreed to a 3-year contract extension worth $150 million in new money. The deal carries $134 million in guaranteed compensation, along with a signing bonus and front-loaded protections. It also includes a no-trade clause, one of the rarest provisions ever granted to a non-quarterback in modern NFL history. That number, $50 million per year, is the new ceiling. And every pass rusher, every edge, every defensive tackle, every wide receiver sitting on a contract below it just got a reason to walk into their team facility and ask questions.
Will Anderson has signed a 3-year contract extension for $150 million. So that whole business of a fifth year option being picked up, I imagine this is an extension after that.
Rich Eisen laid out exactly why this deal is so different. The extension does not replace Anderson's rookie contract. It layers on top of it. Earlier in the offseason, on April 8, 2026, the Texans exercised the 5th-year option, locking in his 2027 season at around $21.5 million, fully guaranteed. He plays 2026 on his rookie deal, plays 2027 on the option, and then the new extension money kicks in.
So he'll play it out, and then this 3-year contract extension to keep it going, $50 million a year on average.
This is where it gets loud for the rest of the league. The Texans view the full picture as 5 years of control at roughly $36.5 million per year. But the 3 extension years themselves, $50 million, a flat 50. That is the number every agent is going to point at.
It is the highest salary on an annual basis of anybody who doesn't play quarterback in the National Football League. This is a new threshold being set by the Houston Texans, $50 million.
And here is the pecking order right below him. Micah Parsons sits at $46.5 million. Aiden Hutchinson at $45 million. Jackson Smith and Jigba at $42.15 million. TJ Watt at $41 million. Jamar Chase at $40.25 million. Every single one of them just watched the 3rd overall pick from the 2023 draft jump past them by numbers that cannot be explained away as a normal cost of doing business.
I bring all this up for the point of saying the following. First of all, deserves it. He's really, really friggin' good.
Here is the thing. Anderson earned every cent of this. Over 3 NFL seasons, he has played 46 games with 44 starts, anchored the Texans' defensive line, and climbed from rookie starter to first-team All-Pro to Defensive Player of the Year, runner-up in 2025. His sack numbers jumped from 7 as a rookie to 11 to 12. His tackles for loss went from 10 to 16 to 20. His forced fumbles went from 0 to 1 to 3. Every year he got better. Every year he broke more pockets, and he saved his best for the biggest stage. In 6 career playoff games, Anderson put up 17 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. Those are not role player numbers. Those are franchise-altering numbers in the 6 most important games of his life. Houston knew what they had. They had seen what happens when you wait. They had seen how contracts balloon every single offseason because the cap keeps climbing and a new TV deal looms. So Nick Caserio moved fast. Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports Group negotiated it quietly, and within days of the 5th-year option being picked up, the extension was done. But here is where the dominoes start falling, because when you reset the market by a number this large, every star player on a team below their worth suddenly has a reason to call their agent. And across the NFL, 10 of them are doing exactly that. The first name you need to know is sitting in Cleveland, and he is watching this deal with the kind of silence that always comes right before a trade request. Myles Garrett and the edge rusher revolt. Myles Garrett is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, first-team All-Pro, first-ballot Hall of Famer when his career ends, and he is making $40 million a year, while Will Anderson Jr. now makes $50. That is not a small gap. That is a $10 million per year canyon between a player who just won the award Anderson finished second for and the player who finished second.
And his name is Myles Garrett. $40 million a year when he and Will Anderson's making $50.
Let that sink in for a second. The unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, a man who just turned 30, who has been arguably the best pass rusher on the planet for 4 straight seasons, is now the 4th highest paid edge in the sport, behind Anderson, behind Parsons, behind Hutchinson, and staring up at TJ Watt, who sits 1 slot above him.
And TJ Watt's making 41. And Micah Parsons is making 46 and a half. I'm Myles Garrett. I'm thinking, huh?
That is not how the food chain is supposed to work. You do not give the hardware to one guy and then pay 3 other guys more than him the next offseason. Either the Browns fix that number or they fix the problem a different way.
If I'm Myles Garrett, the Browns are going to have to do something. Yeah.
Like what?
Pay him.
More?
Yes.
And if they do not pay him more, the only other move on the board is the one nobody in Cleveland wants to talk about out loud. Trade him. Send him somewhere that will pay him. Cash in the draft capital before his 30-year-old body starts asking for the one thing contracts cannot buy back, which is time.
That guy, the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, it wasn't even a question.
Because Garrett is not the only edge rusher doing math right now. The ripple is already spreading. In Las Vegas, Max Crosby is sitting in the middle of trade speculation that has been loud all offseason. Reports from Adam Schefter confirmed that the Raiders are asking for at least 2 first-round picks and a premium player for any potential Crosby trade. That is the asking price of a franchise that knows what they have, but it is also the asking price of a franchise that is at least listening.
And a premium player for any potential Max Crosby trade per Adam Schefter.
That kind of package only gets discussed when the player in question has made it known he wants options. And Crosby, who plays with the exact kind of relentless motor that Anderson built his own career on, is looking at the new $50 million ceiling and wondering why he is still sitting on a deal that does not match it.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Now, hold on, Ocho.
I like
We
it.
got Creed.
The Cowboys have been mentioned. The Bears have been mentioned. The Cowboys in particular, with their defensive need and their history of aggressive moves, are exactly the kind of team that would chase a name this size.
Because I think the thing is they're looking at the kind of what Green Bay gave up.
Yeah.
What Green Bay gave up.
We
to
get Micah.
Parsons.
Yeah.
This is the new reality. When one deal resets the top of the market, every team below the top has to decide whether they are paying their star or losing him. And the edge rushers are only part of the story. Because the market is not just moving at one position, it is moving everywhere. Anderson's number can be pointed to as evidence. Defensive tackles are watching, cornerbacks are watching, receivers are watching, and every single one of them is about to find out what their real price tag looks like when a $50 million non-quarterback exists in the league.
But if I'm Baltimore, I'm Chicago, I got to make it. I got to make a move. I got to make a move. I got to get somebody that can get home.
And that pressure is already landing on one team in particular, a team that has been trying to extend one of the best interior defensive linemen in the sport for years without closing the deal. The negotiations finally broke, and now the player wants out. Dexter Lawrence, Danielle Hunter, and the interior shakeup. The most concrete trade request of the entire 2026 offseason belongs to Dexter Lawrence, the 2-time All-Pro defensive tackle of the New York Giants. In early April 2026, after years of extension negotiations that never produced an agreement, Lawrence formally asked to be traded. This is the exact kind of situation that Anderson's deal makes 10 times worse. Lawrence is one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL. He collapses pockets from the inside the same way Anderson does from the edge. And while Anderson just got $50 million a year, Lawrence has been trying to get the Giants to commit to a long-term deal without success. The Giants, according to reports, remain open to trading him, but have set a high bar. They are reportedly seeking at least a top 10 selection in the 2026 NFL Draft plus additional assets, or potentially a later first-round pick bundled with multiple other selections. That kind of asking price reflects how good Lawrence is, but it also shows how complicated these situations get once a market-resetting contract like Anderson's hits the books. Because when a non-quarterback is making $50 million, every team thinking about acquiring a player like Lawrence has to account for what his next contract is going to look like. You are not just trading for the player. You are trading for the extension that follows him. And that extension just got more expensive by an order of magnitude. Lawrence's leverage is the same leverage Anderson had: dominant production, proven postseason impact, and a market that keeps pushing up the floor. The difference is, the Giants waited. They kept talking. They kept offering numbers that did not match what was coming. And now Lawrence does not want to be there anymore. That is the cost of waiting. That is what Anderson's contract is teaching front offices all over the league in real time. Back in Houston, the interior of the defense tells its own story about how this all connects. The Texans have built something special by paying their guys early. They paid Derek Stingley Jr. immediately. They paid Jalen Peter immediately. They paid Nico Collins before he could even sniff free agency. And the result is a roster where everyone knows that effort and production will be rewarded without a fight.
He's earned, and I think the Texans were really happy to pay him. They've shown this before. They're willing to pay their guys.
This is the culture Anderson walked into, and it is the culture Danielle Hunter has been reinforcing as a veteran presence. Earlier this offseason, Houston extended Hunter another season, making him the 4th highest paid edge rusher in the league at the time, behind TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson, and Micah Parsons. Now, with Anderson at the top, Houston has 2 of the 5 highest paid edge rushers in football on the same roster.
The Houston Texans still have 2 players now in the top 5 in terms of highest paid edge rushers on a per year basis. Now,
Hunter's role in shaping Anderson has been enormous. In an interview with NBC, Anderson went into detail about what Hunter has meant to him as a younger player.
A big role, a major role, like super blessed to have him as a big bro, super blessed to play alongside him. He's taught me so much, man. And
that mentorship is the kind of thing that keeps a locker room healthy when contracts start shifting around. Players who feel taken care of do not ask to leave. Players who feel ignored do.
He always sees me, I'm always jittery and stuff like that. He's always
calm.
And he really cool. He's helped me so much in my game just to be cool. Like now I used to be stressing about sacks or tackles.
The lesson here is simple. If you treat your stars like foundations, they will play like foundations. If you let them sit on expired numbers while the market moves past them, they will ask for the door. Dexter Lawrence asked for the door. Myles Garrett is watching. And in a quieter part of the league, a quarterback sitting on an expiring rookie deal is about to become the most expensive negotiation in football. The CJ Stroud floor and the quarterback domino. When you pay a non-quarterback $50 million a year, you set a floor for your quarterback. You do not get to pay your quarterback less than the guy rushing the passer on your defense. That is not how it works. That is not how any of this works.
He's really, really freaking good. 2. This is now the floor for CJ Stroud. That's it.
CJ Stroud is the 2nd overall pick from the 2023 NFL Draft. Anderson was the 3rd. Stroud is the quarterback. Anderson is the edge rusher. And right now, the edge rusher is getting paid more than the quarterback.
The idea of like, you know what we're going to do? A little bit of this, a little bit of that. It'll be less than $50 million.
That does not fly. Not in the NFL. Not anywhere. And the Texans know it. That is why on April 8th, 2026, they exercised Stroud's 5th-year option, locking in his 2027 season at approximately $25.9 million fully guaranteed. Nick Caserio called it a no-brainer, and it was. But a 5th-year option is a stopgap. It is not an extension. And the longer Houston waits on a real long-term deal, the more expensive that deal becomes.
Why?
Because you're not paying your quarterback less than your non-quarterback.
He's not their best player.
That is the problem. Stroud has to get paid, and he has to get paid more than Anderson, which means the Texans are now staring at a contract that is going to start with a 5, probably a 6, and land somewhere near or above what Dak Prescott is currently making at $60 million a year.
Getting Will Anderson done, 3 years, $50 million per. You heard Cam Hayward saying hour 2 when we brought this up to him about CJ Stroud, the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost.
And here's where the broader league impact hits, because Stroud is not the only young quarterback in this position. There is an entire draft class of quarterbacks who are either about to get paid or about to start demanding it. Bryce Young, drafted 1 pick ahead of Stroud, is in the same boat. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Drake May from the 2024 draft class are all 1 year away from this same decision. Then there are the veterans, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jacoby Brissett, who has been exploring opportunities with the Arizona Cardinals after seeking a fresh start or an improved role. Every single one of these quarterbacks is looking at Anderson's deal and asking what it means for their own number. And the Texans, for their part, might be rolling the dice. If Stroud plays at an MVP level in 2026, his extension could blow past $60 million a year. If he struggles again the way he did in the 2025 divisional round playoff loss to the Patriots, then Houston has a different kind of problem, because now they have committed $50 million a year to their edge rusher, and they have a quarterback question on top of it. The front office has been deliberate. DeMeco Ryans has praised Stroud's focused approach, daily throwing sessions, and improved mindset heading into his 4th NFL season. That sounds good. But good mindset does not pay guaranteed money. Production does. And if Stroud produces, the bill is coming.
And they didn't wait for Will Anderson to see someone else set another market for them.
That is the lesson Houston learned with Anderson, and it is the lesson they are still choosing not to apply with Stroud. The question is whether that bet pays off.
3 years, but it's his 4th year and then his 5th year option, then the 3 years kick in. So they have 5 years of contractual control on him.
5 years of contractual control over Anderson. That is the real headline. 5 years of a pass rusher who just put up 12 sacks and 20 tackles for loss in a single season. 5 years of an all-pro edge on an offense-controlled cap sheet that still has to account for a rising quarterback contract. The quarterback domino is the biggest domino of all. When it falls, it takes the rest of the pay scale with it. And the players watching from around the league, the ones sitting on expiring deals or deals that no longer match what they are worth, are about to make their moves. 10 stars who want out and the league-wide reshuffle. The 2026 NFL offseason was already moving fast before Anderson signed. It is going to move faster now. Start with the wide receivers. Jalen Waddle was traded from the Miami Dolphins to the Denver Broncos, giving Miami draft capital and salary relief while giving Denver an established playmaker. That is a top-tier receiver on the move before Anderson's deal even hit. Now imagine what the next receiver is going to demand when they see Jamar Chase sitting at $40.25 million below a defensive end. Because that is the line. If a non-quarterback can make $50 million, then the top receivers in the league are going to want their own adjustment. Chase will want more. Justin Jefferson will want more. CeeDee Lamb will want more. And George Pickens, who has been the subject of trade speculation in Dallas, is going to want to be wherever the biggest contract is waiting. Cornerbacks are watching too. Taron Johnson moved to the Las Vegas Raiders in a deal that bolstered their secondary. That is one move, but the bigger picture is the broader cornerback market. Derek Stingley Jr. signed at $30 million a year. Sauce Gardner topped him. Trent McDuffie got traded from the Chiefs to the Rams and pushed the number to $31 million.
He's still young. If he continues that play, if he continues into his prime in, 3-4 years, or maybe not that long, because he'll probably get another deal at that point.
And those corner numbers are already starting to look small next to $50 million. The floor is moving. The ceiling is moving. Every position is affected. Running backs felt it too. David Montgomery was acquired by the Houston Texans from the Detroit Lions, adding proven red zone and between the tackles production. That move happened because Houston knows they need offensive balance around Stroud before his extension eats the rest of the cap sheet. On the offensive line, Wyatt Teller, Braden Smith, Ed Ingram, and Trent Brown all moved on short-term deals to bolster protection for Stroud. These are the veterans who know the window is short. They know that in 2 years, the Texans will have to pick a younger, cheaper option at their position because the cap space simply will not be there. Linebacker and safety depth also got shuffled. Reed Blankenship signed with the Texans. Titus Howard was traded to the Browns. Every one of these moves is happening because teams are trying to stay flexible before the next market reset.
The Texans feel like they got a really good deal for a guy that, let me read you his stats year by year.
The broader pattern is what Anderson's deal accelerated. Teams are prioritizing short-term veteran additions paired with heavy draft investment. 2-year deals with modest guarantees, selective releases, restructures to create cap space, and draft capital as currency for future stability. But the players who are left out of the plan, the ones who feel their number no longer matches their production, are the ones who are going to start making noise. 10 stars in particular are the ones whose names you should watch over the next few weeks. Myles Garrett in Cleveland is number 1, watching his teammates and peers pass him on the pay scale while holding the Defensive Player of the Year trophy. Max Crosby in Las Vegas is number 2, with the Raiders already publicly setting a trade price. Dexter Lawrence in New York is number 3, having already formally requested his trade. Jacoby Brissett is number 4, exploring a move to Arizona. The rest of the list writes itself when you follow the dominoes. TJ Watt is staring at $41 million with Anderson above him at $50. Jamar Chase at $40.25 million is the top receiver in the league, making less than a defensive end. Jalen Waddle, even after the Broncos trade, is going to want his number to move up. George Pickens, sitting in Dallas, is watching his value climb every week. Aiden Hutchinson at $45 million is another Anderson contemporary who could use the reset. And Patrick Surtain II, every elite corner on an expiring extension, every edge rusher under $40 million, every wide receiver who has ever had a 100-catch season. They are all running the same math.
Obviously, after how he played in the playoffs, it's hard to, justify giving him an extension this offseason. I think the Texans played it right.
That is the league-wide reshuffle. Anderson's deal just kicked into high gear. A landmark extension in Houston turned into a market reset that is now forcing every front office in football to make hard decisions about their own stars. Houston, for their part, did it the right way. They paid the guy before the guy had to ask. They built a culture where effort and production get rewarded without conflict. Acho called this Texans defense the scariest team in the NFL, and the foundation of that defense is a pass rusher who now has the biggest non-quarterback contract in league history on his desk.
Scariest team in the NFL. Find another team, Shady. Find another team that's beat Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the last 4 weeks.
That scary defense is why Anderson got paid. It is why Hunter got paid. It is why Stingley got paid. It is why the Texans are going to keep winning games in the AFC South, even as other teams scramble to keep their own stars.
This defense is suffocating. Find another defense that has 2 defensive ends with 10+ sacks each.
And it is why the rest of the league is now going to spend the next few months dealing with the fallout. 10 stars are going to ask for extensions or ask to be released. Some of them will get their money. Some of them will get shipped to contenders for draft picks. And a few of them are going to find out that the market moved past them while they were waiting. Anderson set the floor. The floor just became the ceiling for everyone else. And now every star in the NFL has a decision to make. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.